We are all on a journey to self-discovery, and no matter what you've gathered or learned over the years, there's still room for improvement. And yes, you can do it. Hello, amazing people. It's another interesting episode of your favorite event program coming to you on the network service of the NTA. I am Marianne Ayanna, and this is Socialogue. Sit back, relax, and let's take you all around the world of events. For every milestone achieved in life, there are some certain people that are always with you every step of the way, cheering and cheering you on as you go. Our first story today will tell you more. Let's see this. It was with warm felicitations that the close friends and colleagues of the new Minister of State for Transport, Ademola Adegoroye, organized a get-together to celebrate his inauguration into President Muhammadu Buhari's cabinet. The event held at the Casa Mexican restaurant was fully graced by closest friends, associates, colleagues, comrades, and family members.
We have never been to Mexico because of the crime.
With music flowing from the band and lots to eat and drink, it was indeed an atmosphere of pure celebration. The highlights of the event was the encomium showered on the celebrant, who is described as humane, humble, tenacious, and warm-hearted. Little wonder it was chosen to add value to achievement of the present administration in the transport sector.
He's our own, and we are celebrating him, and we are saying that by the grace of God, he's going to do successfully. And all of us are going to feel proud of him because we know he's a man of excellence. He actually yearns to do the best.
We will not fail if with all deep sense of humility and commitment you submit yourself to the system, not compromising the ethics of what it takes to build a public service, but at the same time realizing that your position is that of respect to the minister, to yourself, to the permanent secretary, and to the civil service structure in that ministry.
Those who found you worthy of all the offices you occupied, I'm sure they were here tonight, will be very proud of you. Those of us who have been lucky to listen to you are very grateful, sir. The God who has guided you this far will not depart from you now, because this country still needs people like you.
And as the journey begins with motivation, purpose, and of course, good friends, the sky is a starting point for the new minister.
Engineer Mr. KK and Chairman of the Civil Service Commission, sir. Ambassador Jude Keshe, his wife, I thank you all for coming. I know that my uncle is a man of quality. When you see him, you meet good people around him. I know that he will not compromise certain things. So I'm not surprised that you're here, sir. There is no way I will not do well, sir. Because you will be there to pull my ears all the time. And thank God that you offered to continue to guide me.
When your circle is as amazing as that, almost assuredly, when you look back, you have absolutely nothing to fear whatsoever. Congratulations once again from all of us at Socialogue. Now to our second story, art is definitive. Art is beautiful. In the world of art, nothing is discarded or wasted. Now you might think, what is she talking about? But every single piece of material creates another beautiful, unique masterpiece. Want to find out what I'm talking about? Let's see this.
Art is a great way to spread awareness on sustainability and sustainable development through upcycling and recycling of materials that we generally classify as waste. It is a powerful way to communicate environmental messages.
There is no planet B. We keep saying that the only planet that we have currently right now that can accommodate all of us is planet Earth. And it has done so much for us. This is the time, and through all of our anthropogenic activities, we've done a lot of harm to our environment. And if we will truly leave this world and also leave it for future generations, we need to do something. So let's not just look at it at the global or the government stage alone. There are things that we can do by ourselves. Individuals can take actions. There are recyclable swaps that we can do to our day-to-day lives. Businesses can have sustainable features. Where we are right now, we see the efforts in, bringing things that could have otherwise been a menace to the society, bringing it together, making beautiful things out of it. Everyone has that responsibility. No matter where you are, all you just have to do is equip yourself with that knowledge.
The environment has been under attack since the dawn of humanity, and creative arts has been a powerful tool for sustainable development. The youth involvement provides a platform to express themselves while also creating awareness about social and environmental issues that we face.
So one of the major problems of fashion pollution is overproduction of clothing brought on by fast fashion. So people want new and different pieces of clothing all the time, which leads to having too many pieces of clothing that they end up wearing once and then discarding. So what we're trying to do is to encourage people to not buy as many pieces of clothing when they can buy one that can do many things. And I own a sustainable fashion brand that makes clothing from organic fabrics like linens and canvas and silks into convertible clothing, such as long sleeve shirts that can be converted to short sleeve, or full length shirts that can be converted to cropped, or a pair of pants that can be converted to shorts.
It's water hyacinth. So for some of us that have been to Jabi Lake and other part of the riverine area like Lagos State, you see some floating weeds. It's an invasive weed, aquatic weed. You will see most of them in water bodies. So we clean up the water bodies by harvesting this leaf. It's called water hyacinth. We'll have to dry them. When we dry them, we have the dried version of the water hyacinth. With the dried version of the water hyacinth, we can decide on what to do. We are producing different things from it. One is to use them as artwork. This is one of the artwork that we produce by converting the water hyacinth into crafts. So we dry them and we convert them into crafts like this.
For the most part, try not to make art that is extremely wasteful, which is like small batches of art production. My canvases are one-off. I don't necessarily make a lot of prints of my work. I dabble in textile, like the bucket hats are made out of scrap material from other materials that I've used for my tote bags, and the tote bags themselves are quite durable. I'm hoping, the tote bags themselves are quite durable. So I'm not really, hoping people are buying every single time I launch. I'm hoping that they buy maybe 1 or 2 different colors and then they can use them for, a few years, because I've been using mine for like 3 years now.
The main purpose of art is to communicate messages which are not always possible with words. Using waste products and reusing old materials to create art is an easy way to turn waste into something that can be used again, instead of being thrown away. And this, maybe, is humanity's only hope in reversing this trend.
Art gives sustainability a form of creativity and power. Now, any form of art that seeks to affect our environment positively is top-notch in my book. The word is reduce, reuse, and recycle. To our third story of the day, we're still celebrating a great icon, Jimmy Solanke. But particularly, we are interested in his impact in the world of jazz in Nigeria.
Described as a man of authentic artistry with several feathers to his cap, a folk singer, actor, storyteller, dramatist, poet, and playwright, Jimmy Solanke, popularly known as Baba Agba, turned 80 recently, with Nigerians celebrating the thespian, including the president who described him as a national hero who used his talents and works to help shape the modern and vibrant creative industry in Nigeria. Celebrating the octogenarian, a week-long event was held to commemorate the day. One of the events held was a virtual and live jazz conference organized by the Lagos Jazz Society, with focus on the root and influence of Jimmy Solanke in contemporary jazz movement in Nigeria, a genre of music which the celebrant performs.
We are not promoting the jazz culture in Nigeria. It's not being picked up and pushed by the media. It's being done by individuals. It's being done in areas like Jazz Hall or Freedom Park or with the weekly jazz nights that we have, but there isn't an infrastructure that exists to support Nigerian and African jazz. And that's really what needs to change, because until that happens, it's really going to be uphill. But it's not a task that must not be tackled. It has to be tackled.
When I think of jazz today, as you were talking, I thought to myself, well, what is jazz? And here we are celebrating a living legend like Jimmy Solanke. Jazz is Jimmy Solanke. Jimmy Solanke as a dramatist, as an actor, as a folklorist, as a poet, and as a playwright. That is jazz. Jazz is that expression that doesn't get funneled into anywhere. It actually belongs to each person. So every time we discuss what is jazz, I heard Brightly talk about teaching music, etc., and I kept reading the comments. And I don't believe everybody who can play a piece of jazz instrument is a jazz musician. I believe each one of us live jazz, because if jazz is drama, if jazz is life, then yeah, we all live and watch. And somebody wrote on the comments and said, stop talking jive, jazz is a way of life. I totally agree. But again, we can't funnel it. And that's where we always kind of lock heads. We mustn't funnel it into one pigeonhole.
The plenary was moderated by Michael Okorie, while the convener, Jarman, took charge of the book presentation. During the virtual live section, Colleagues of the celebrant spoke highly of him and his exploits in jazz music in Nigeria.
He contributed immensely to the growth of jazz. And of course, what we call rap music in Nigeria today, he was actually the very first person to do that. Uncle Jimmy Sholanke was actually the very first person to do jazz, to do the rap music. And of course, I praise the Lord for Uncle Jimmy.
The panelists also added the need to promote African jazz music with regards to structures, harmony, education, sponsorships, and promotions.
I would like to appeal in my presentation that the major issue for jazz education is funding. And I'd like to appeal that LJS should, even if it's just 2 jazz students they can sponsor in a year, please, they should do it. And the individuals that are here, if you can sponsor 1 or 2 students, it will go a long way to educating the budding jazz artists.
What we need in Nigeria is education, music education, because I was blessed that my family sent me back to Switzerland after my father was assassinated in Nigeria. He was a Swiss ambassador. My mother was a Shakiri princess. And I put money into a club called Sulere Nightclub. It was an open air club. It was kind of not very nice. So I air conditioned it. I covered the roof, bought first class equipment, and had my second band called Timac United, which had also good musicians like Kenneth Okolulo. Many of them are still around.
The virtual jazz conference also featured a brief film documentary on Jimmy Sholanke's performance.
Now, being honored and celebrated for not just the impact it's brought to our television, but also jazz as a genre of music is something worthy to be celebrated. Now, I remember growing up watching Storyland, and I remember the jingle, it's in my head. Storyland, Storyland, line of music, fun and games. Storyland, Storyland, bring your friends along. Beautiful memories I will forever cherish. Here's wishing him the very best and many more amazing years ahead. To our final story of the day, we bring to you all the way from Ire Ekiti, the burial ceremony of Pa Clement Afuye.
A beginning of a journey to the great beyond for Pa Clement Adebisi Afuye amidst fanfare. Born on the 4th of April 1931 into the family of Ilegemo of Ire Ekiti. Pa Afuye acquired his formal education at Modern School and Teachers College, where he graduated in 1963. At his Omega House, there was a special line in state service for him in line with Christian burial rites.
He's one of the strong members of our church. So wherever they are going, worshiping God, they should be strong members and do well as well. Then they should not forget the legacy of their father in the church.
At St. Gregory's Catholic Pro Cathedral, Ire-Ekiti, it was a convergence of family, associates, and loved ones as they thanked God for a life well spent, spanning to 93 years. Reverend Father Aduloju, in his sermon, enjoyed the gathering to look beyond life's pleasures and focus on the eternal race. After the church Thanksgiving service, the remains of Pa Clement Adebisi Afuye was later interred at his personal residence in Ire-Ekiti. After the dust-to-dust rites, family and friends converged for a reception in honor of the deceased, whom they described as a man whose hallmark was discipline, hard work, and diligence.
When the father came, we prayed together. After the Holy Communion, Baba said, thank you. And we all knew that might be the last appreciation from Baba.
This man trained his own children in the ways of the Lord, and also he trained them to become somebody in life. And that is why you can even see the environment today.
If you an attempt to please people, you are trying to live big, then the thing will boomerang on you. Then the ocean will still come upon you. I learned that one from my father. And he was a peace lover.
I will really miss him because he used to tell me if I'm sneezing, he will say, this girl, you need to see doctor. Why are you doing like this?
The little time I, stay with him, in fact, he was such a very nice man. Someone that, that takes care of the children and, the in-law alike. So we are going to miss him so very much.
Just a good man. I love him very much. He brought us up well with love and everything.
Some of his grandchildren speak on the life lived by their grandfather.
He's very loving. He's scary. And he's agile. If you see him, he's not the kind of person that you push and lock one place. No, he's always moving. Whatever you give Grandpa, he eats. If you put him in the car, he moves. So I'll miss him a lot. He's such a great father.
Very, very good grandpa. He's someone that he likes education and he wants his children to be educated also. We miss him.
In the peak of his career, Pa Clement Adebisi Afuye became the headmaster of St. Gregory Catholic Primary School in Ire-Ekiti, where he worked until he voluntarily retired in 1992.
It's never an easy one when they do leave, but our prayer is whenever they leave, they are remembered for the good they've done and for the lives they have touched. And that's all we have for you on the program today. Join us again same time next week. Remember, keep shining no matter what. Stay safe, everyone. Bye.